Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today we have 5 more undervalued comic books for us to take a look at. All right, so Falcon and the Winter Soldier is hitting the Disney streaming tomorrow. Right, today is March 18th. Tomorrow will be the first day that they broadcast the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So hold on to your speculator hats because it's going to go crazy. If we thought what was going on with WandaVision over the time that it was broadcasting in terms of speculation was wild, I think over the next 6 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're talking about hinting at all kinds of different setups and crazy characters and all kinds of things are happening. So, like I said, it's dropping tomorrow. Hopefully, we've gotten our spec books in there. We did spec on a bunch of different Winter Soldier books. This one, right? This was an example. This was a dollar bin diver when we spec'd on it way back when, and it looks like there was some sort of character in the trailer that looked like it could be Screaming Mimi. The grapplers are in there. If Screaming Mimi's in there, that's a possibility of the Thunderbolts, right? We speculated on their first appearance almost 2 years ago when it was a $20 book. That book's seen a whole bunch of rides. That Thunderbolts, rumor just persists. Seeing the possibility in the trailer of Screaming Mimi. She was a Thunderbolt as well, right? This has her first appearance in it, as well as the Grapplers, who could be villains in the She-Hulk streaming service, whatever. So this book has gone from $1 to crazy prices lately. Hopefully you've got books like that, right? And that, first appearance of the Thunderbolts too. Do I think these are good buys? Well, like a book like this right now, when we spec'd on it at $1 or $1 or $5 or whatever it was back then, yeah, it was a good buy no matter what happened, right? But now, if you're gonna spend, like, there's people asking quite a bit of money for this book now, and if it is Screaming Mimi, if it is the Thunderbolts, like if she somehow has a major link to them and then becomes part of the Thunderbolts and becomes a major MCU character, yeah, I'd say that there's still room for this book to grow. If that doesn't happen, I'd say that this book is going to see a serious, market correction and a pullback in price, right? If, and yeah, who knows what'll happen, right? Like I said, today's March 18th. We haven't got any Falcon the Winter Soldier yet. If you're watching this on a later replay, maybe you know what happens already, and you're like, Dave, but I don't know what happens. Nobody knows what happens yet. And but yeah, like books like this, right? Like if it is the Grapplers, if they are in the She-Hulk, if it is somehow linking with the Thunderbolts, this book could see quite a significant rise still. And it would say it was undervalued. But if those things don't pan out, it's not. It's going to drop in value, right? And then the price right now, you got to weigh, like, is it a risk? Like, that's why I like to spec on these books super early. So yeah, sometimes there's like, why is Dave picking this? But these outside picks sometimes really pay off, like this one, right? There was no rumor about Screaming Mimi or anything when we first spec'd on that book way back in 2019. Anyway, on with our 5 value picks and just, trying to get your head around, like, man, if that book hits Screaming Mimi, anybody that bought it when I recommended it will be pretty happy. Anyway, all right, so number one on our list, like I said, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is dropping tomorrow, so we've seen the trailer. There was like shots of Madripoor in there, right, which has a big link to the mutants. Kevin Feige's talked about mutants. Other people have talked about mutants. There's mutants rumors everywhere, right? The Celestials have a big thing to do with the mutants, and the Eternals movie's coming out soon, so there may be a big link. There has to be almost a big link in there somehow to mutants, right? So I'm figuring we can spec on a few mutant books. Giant Size X-Men would be a great book to have, but definitely, not going to make it onto this type of undervalued list, right? We're interested more in those, under $100 books is mostly where we're going with this one. Books that anybody can afford to get. Get yourself a little key, might rise in price. So first one on the list is from 2003, and it is New X-Men number 134. Jean Grey cover on there. So if you look at the cover of X-Men number 134, it also has a Jean Grey Phoenix cover. So I think that was kind of a, a nod to that Uncanny X-Men cover with this Jean Grey cover. This has the first appearance of a character in it called Kid Omega, right? So there has been some talk about it. Kevin Feige even said the word. We're looking at more Omega level mutants, right? They've also talked about not just having another, reboot of the Fox X-Men, but doing their own thing with some other characters. We've seen lots of these weird little characters show up in other things. Negasonic Teenage, Warhead. Who'd have thunk that she'd have been put into a movie and actually in a major role in a movie. So getting a few of these sort of ancillary mutant ones that could have a link back. Kid Omega I think is a good pick in that sort of range. His first appearance has not gotten out of control price. This is some people know what it is and stuff, but I think a lot of people probably flip right by this without even knowing that it does have an appearance of of a more major later character, right? Kid Omega had a lot to do with what was going on in the X-Men in the early 2000s and stuff. um, he could show up in a movie, right? They're not just going to keep focusing on only Bronze Age stuff. I mean, they will, because everybody loves Wolverine and Cyclops and Professor X and all those guys. But there could be a bringing in of other characters that we haven't seen before, right? They want to do their own thing with the X-Men. So in 2003, I picked this new X-Men 134. Look to pay around $20 to $25 for a near mint copy of this, right? It hasn't seen a whole lot of love, but it's not totally unknown book, right? You might find it in a dollar bin if you're lucky. But yeah, so I think having this as a first appearance in your back pocket of your collection is a good pick, and I picked New X-Men number 134 from 2003. Look to pay $20 to $25 for a mint copy of that guy. All right, so number 2 on our list. Let's pick up another kind of outside their character. Um, we, yeah, we'll stick with the mutant ones, and I picked here also. It's from 2005, right? It's another appearance of a mutant character, and he appears here in X-Men Deadly Genesis number 1, right? This is the Caseta variant. Excuse me, this is the Caseta variant. I found this in the dollar bin. You can see that there was a sticker on there. Somebody tried to peel off sort of unexpertly. I don't know if they've damaged the comic. I'll probably have to get another one. I've got a little trick with the hair dryer. You can get stickers off much easier than this, and we'll see if I can get this cleaned up a little bit. But I think that might be a little bit of color that pulled off there, unfortunately. I'll get another copy. You should get a copy too. This has the first appearance of a character named Vulcan in it, right? So Vulcan is related to Havoc and Cyclops. He's one of the Summers kids. He's Gabriel Summers. He was kind of, his mom was pregnant with them, and there was some stuff that happened, and she died, and then he was, cesareaned out of his mom and put into a maturation chamber and became an adult, and then, but again, we're talking about the Omega level mutants. Well, Vulcan is definitely an Omega level mutant, right? He has gone through quite a bit. He is incredibly deadly. I mean, if you read this, you'd see just how big of an antagonist Vulcan can be. He has ties back to the Shi'ar. He has ties to the X-Men, to Cyclops, to Corsair. All these characters that could possibly show up here in the MCU. We don't know what kind of direction they're going to take with what kind of bad guys in those X-Men films. Vulcan wouldn't be a bad choice, right? He's, like I said, an Omega level mutant with energy manipulation that's on such a scale that he can block people's mutant powers just by manipulating the energy in their body and stuff like that. So quite a deadly character. But think again, I want to try and pick a few of these things. Marvel's not always, like I said, just gonna stick with the old guys. They want to bring in characters that newer Marvel fans are familiar with, and that they can make newer fans get behind and stuff in their movies. And I don't think Vulcan is a bad pick. Right now, you can find Deadly Genesis #1 for around $10 for the A cover. This is, like I said, a variant cover. Um, Obviously, you don't want one with a big, nasty sticker pull on there, but you can, excuse me, but you can find the A cover out there for about $10. If you want to get a clean copy of this variant cover, it usually runs around the $20 mark. There is a second print with Wolverine on fire on it, so if you're interested in the second print, look for the Wolverine burning cover on that one. And yeah, I think this is not a bad pick for the price that you can pay for it now, right? So, from 2005, X-Men Deadly Genesis #1, first appearance of Vulcan. Okay, let's take a step away from mutants now, and we'll bring up this kind of weird character. And I like little picks like this because, I mean, the way, they've taken all these weird little characters, these B-rollers, and made them into superstar characters. I mean, who'd have thunk Rocket Raccoon, right? Like back, if in 1990 somebody told you that, someone was going to, put Rocket Raccoon in a movie that was going to make $1 billion, they'd have thought you were drunk, right? Like nobody was thinking that kind of thing back then. But look at it, right? Look at what he's done with that, those kind of little ancillary characters. Um, I'd like to pick up little ones, and I think a good pick for kind of one of those weird characters that may actually show up at some point for something. I'm not, not speculating on anything other than that. I'm just picking because it's a cheap pick still, and it comes from 1981. Okay, and it is The Defenders #94. And this guy has the first appearance of a character called Gargoyle in it. And Gargoyle is just, like I said, one of those kind of weird little characters that could show up in some capacity, maybe in a Doctor Strange. He has a magic sort of connection to him and stuff. He's basically a very close ripoff of DC Comics, the Demon, of Jack Kirby's Demon. But I don't think he's quite as cool, but he still could be one of those weird little characters that show up. I mean, like I said, who'd have thunk Rocket Raccoon would have showed up, or Meeks would have been, in an MCU movie like that, right? Like, who know? There's all kinds of weird little characters out there that, may show up and cause our comic books to rise in price. And I think, picking up a copy of this Defenders #94, looking to pay around the $10 mark for a really nice copy of it. It's 1984, so it's still, or 1981, so it's still, pushing into the, 40-year comic book range. And, picking up a high grade copies of these things, still not all that hard. Not like a book that people have ever FOMO'd about or anything, getting Gargoyle's first appearance, but I think it's worth it for the $10 that you can pay. I mean, if it never pans out, it never pans out. But if it does, be happy to have it in your collection, which is kind of the idea that we do here, right? Buy cheap, hope for the best, fingers crossed, but we use our intelligence to, hedge our bets a bit, right? Like, or my intelligence or our intelligence. Trust me, there's a lot of people that give me good advice about this as well. So from 1981, The Defenders #94, look to pay around the $10 mark for a copy of that guy. First appearance of Gargoyle. Let's do a couple DC specs. We got a couple here in a row. This spec, we've talked about it before, and it kind of falls along those same lines of looking at those B-roll characters, right, and what directors can do with that stuff. Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're the weird characters that James Gunn picked for that kind of thing, right? And this one I pick, it comes, where am I looking? Again, from 1981, and it is Green Lantern, #141, which has the first appearance of the Omega Men in it, right? And this book is still pretty cheap. I know, like, COVID's put a lot of this plans and announcements and all kinds of stuff on hold, and people, they're sure they have like a backlog of stuff they want to do, that the production under COVID conditions would just be too expensive to start or too much of a pain. And then there's other stuff that's already in the can waiting to be released, but there's no theaters open for stuff and blah 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 that's going on. So the streaming shows have been a big hit, right? And I think the Omega Men is basically DC's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And if DC's taking a different direction with their movies and they want to do more solo stuff and more kind of on their own stuff, and they look at the Marvel formula and they're like, why can't we have $1 billion movie made out of dumb characters? And the Omega Men would be that, right? So if there's ever a property that might show up as, you know, that sort of Guardians of the Galaxy DC style, it would be the Omega Men, right? So having this one again in our collection, in our back pocket, just in case something happens, right? Some out there. There's definitely no announcements, no rumors about the Omega Men, right? That's when we want to buy these stuff. We're just using our intelligence. As soon as that first rumor goes out there, the price goes up. As soon as that first picture of something goes out there, the price jumps. As soon as there's a confirmation, the price jumps, right? So we're trying to get it on the ground floor, risking a little, but the risk is greater, right? The chances of it paying off are greater. Although, like I said, we use our intelligence to hedge our bets, and we've done pretty well so far. So, yeah, I think that the first appearance of the Mega Man is a great pickup for your collection. Still super cheap. Easily find this guy. What were we talking about? Yeah, somewhere in the $10 to $20 range for a mint copy. Again, pushing that 40 years, man. And back in 1981, there was a lot less comic collectors, a lot less comic shops. It was just starting to kind of get to be a big thing, right? Wasn't that easy just to go, you know, down to the comic shop, get bags and boards and acid-free boxes and all that stuff to keep your comics nice. So, trying to find nice condition copies, especially with this jet black cover, right? Looks really striking, that Perez cover there, but yeah. Get yourself a nice copy of the first appearance of the Mega Man. Even if it doesn't happen for a while, I have a high inkling that, you know, DC's gonna want to do something. Warner Brothers are gonna want to do something along those same lines. So, right, 1981, the Green Lantern, number 141. Look to pay around $10 to $20 for a nice copy of that one. All right, last on our list, and this is one I like the spec today. It comes, it's relatively new. It's the newest one on our list here. It's from 2008, and it is Booster Gold, number 5. Right, they've got that Killing Joke homage cover there. Keep the glare off of it on this book. And what's so great about this book? Well, my friends, we've all seen how Robbie Reyes' first appearance has jumped. Like, that was something we speculated on, you know, a year and a half ago with those two books, 3 and 5, you know, Crisis. Robbie Reyes' first appearance. Lately, that's paid off big, right? It's taken a big jump. Sometimes it takes a little while for these things to come, but there has been announcements. And if they're going to pick a bad guy for that movie, I'm going to say it's the guy whose first appearance shows up in this book. And that is the first appearance of Black Beetle, right? So Black Beetle, kind of the antithesis of the Blue Beetle, right? He works for a group of aliens called the Reach, sort of. He kind of goes out on his own. He's quite powerful, and one of the guys that can really give the Blue Beetle a run for his money. So if they're going to put out a Blue Beetle movie, you want to speculate on that villain. Would say that this one is a good pickup now, like before other people start to kind of put two and two together. Mint copies of this book can be found in the $10 to $15 range for that first appearance of Black Beetle. And yeah, I think that there's a very, very good chance that Black Beetle will end up being the villain in the Robbie Reyes Blue Beetle movie. You watch, you mark my words. This guy's going to show up on a hot top 10 from Key Collector or CBSI or something. Maybe not right now, but it won't be too long out for this one to spec up. Okay, so that one is, like I said, my favorite pick today is this Black Beetle pick. And so from 2008, it is Booster Gold, number 5. First appearance of the Black Beetle, antithesis of the Blue Beetle, Robbie Reyes. So that's been our 5 picks this week, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, help me out. Subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber helps me. Every view helps me. Every thumbs up helps me. Every comment helps me, and I love them all, man. I love all the comments that I get from you guys. Happy hunting out there, guys. Remember, Wednesdays are new comic book days, but every day is old comic book day. This has been Dave for Mr. Miracle Comics, and I'll see you next time, true believers.